This is the book of 1 John chapter 2 verse 15, and it reads, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world." Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing and many salutations unto you elect across the four winds of this earth, fulfilling your lots in all truth and all sincerity. I am the priest Sha'ar from the Great Millstone Dallas branch, coming to you all with another lesson through the Spirit. The Lord's will, this lesson here will be edifying unto the flock. And what was just read right here was the book of 1 John chapter 2, starting at verse 15 and read through verse 16. And we have been given, I should say, a very great, detailed, vivid warning on how much of the world that we intake. And that's what this lesson is going to go into. All right, pretty much to be careful on how much of the world that you intake, because we are here in the world, in this current society, surrounded by wickedness, surrounded by people that literally thrive off carnality and thrive off the flesh. All right, and if you have your moments, which we all have certain moments where you might have your highs in the spirit, have your lows in the spirit, but as a warning and exhortation to literally be careful on how much of the world that you are delving into. All right. And my little bit of a walk in this thing, I haven't been in this thing too long, but I can say that there has been a pattern that's shown in a lot of the brothers that have fallen out of the truth. It's always a certain pattern that comes with that. All right. You don't see them too much, and when you do see them, their conversation is more worldly than others. All right, and you start to see that they're kind of around more people of the world and such that can alter the understanding. All right, now granted, of course, obviously we all have certain jobs and positions that we do hold within this world, okay? But it's a reason why we are considered holy and separate, all right? Because even among these people, if you continue to keep your mind after the affairs of this world and have your conversation with these people that are of the world, slowly but surely, and definitely surely and slowly, it can come to a point where you could become more reprobate. You could be hearing a lot of these people in the world's conversation, and the conversation could seep into your conversation in the truth, and you won't even realize it and know it because of how much time and attention that you're giving to worldly affairs. All right, and you know, brothers notice it. Brothers notice it and such, and it's a beautiful thing that brothers notice it, because a brother could hit it on a nail and let you know about it. All right. But if you're not around the assembly, and if you're giving more attention to worldly affairs than the assembly of life and the things that really matter, that could very well be a recipe to disaster, you know. And even our Lord Yahweh Shai said it in the book of John, the 17th chapter. All right, loosely paraphrased, and he's giving his prayer unto the Father, asking his Father to glorify him, because he had declared the name of his Father unto the world. And within that prayer in John the 17th chapter, he's also asking that his servants, his friends, will be protected from the world, because they have to be in this world for a period of time to glorify the Father and to glorify the Son. All right. So if we're, with us being here, with us being surrounded by these people in the world that don't have an understanding of spirituality, we need to really be aware and circumspect on how much time that we're giving into the world. All right, because again, we've been prayed for, we've been advocated for by Yahweh Shai, you know, that while we were here, that we would stay away from it and not be consumed with it. All right, but the longer we're here, and if you consider to see patterns in yourself of rather to be around people of the world than being around the brotherhood, having your conversation in the midst of worldly things and what really matters, you know, that could very well be you getting ready to fall off of a cliff. All right. And we're in a time right now where bread and circuses is literally at an all-time high. All right. Everything that they're doing, they're pushing the world. They're pushing sports. They're pushing their agenda. They're pushing the jab all over the place. You know, and I'm just going into thoughts that come to mind about what's being pushed. You know, but there are going to be moments where you could be looking at it and being like, you know what? I can maneuver around this and still win in the spirit, which you can very well maneuver around it. I mean, the scriptures does say, you know what I'm saying, to use the world and not abuse the world. All right. But you don't want to get to the point where you are abusing the world. All right. And it's very easy to do if you're constantly in the world and having conversation amongst these people that are in the world. All right. And again, as I stated earlier, this is a warning that the Apostle John is given right here. Because even when you go into the word love here, where it says, if a man loved the world, all right, when you go into this word here in the Greek, listen, trans, so bear with me one second, I'm just taking my time. That word is agapo, for love. And when you go into it, it says, of welcome to entertain, to be fond of, to love dearly. All right, so the thing that stands out, the word that stands out is to entertain. And when you go into the word entertain, it literally means to be drawn in. When you go into that word entertain, I believe in the Latin it's pronounced intrattenere, all right, or something of that sort. But it literally means to be drawn from one place to another, to be drawn in. All right, and when you look at this society, it's very easy to be drawn into it. All right, you know, back in the ancient world, where those people were worshiping those idols, there was a whole background behind this idol, a whole legend and folklore behind this idol that doesn't even move or speak or give you any type of spiritual gratification. It's just the reputation that's behind this idol. And a lot of people wonder after it, and they followed after it just because of the reputation that was tied behind it. But now here in Mystery Babylon, and not even here, but the whole world in general, we're surrounded by idols that actually move, that dance, that'll, if you pay too much attention to it, it'll have you laughing, joking, goofing off. It'll take you away from the pathway and it'll lead you into whatever it wants. Even when you look at this agenda that's going on right now, when you look at the yab or the juice, this is turned into a full-fledged idol, and now there's an idea that's behind it to the point where if you don't serve this idol, you will die. You won't have a life. And you look at all these people that are here that are literally wandering after the beast and joining themselves unto this idol. And this is just a mere example out of many. All right. But what is taking place is people are being entertained by this idol right here. And not even just this idol, but plenty of idols that are out here. There's lessons that brothers have done. I've even done some lessons in the past going into it. Anything that you put a lot of time to can become an idol. All right. Your television can become an idol. The club can become an idol. Your woman can become an idol. Your cell phone can become an idol. An idol can be something that you are putting all your attention and entertainment towards. All right. Now, again, granted, you know, we're here and there's certain pastimes that you might be involved in, certain things that you might like doing. But if it's to the point where you notice a pattern of you not really paying attention to studying, reading, speaking to brothers, but you're giving more attention unto these worldly things, you are being entertained by the world, which means that there's a certain amount of love and affection that you're showing towards this idol, all right, or towards what is transformed into an idol, than the true and living God. Okay? And there's a scripture that comes to mind here. I believe it's in Hebrews chapter 10. As I mentioned earlier, when you look at the certain individuals that had fell out the truth, you see a pattern. You see a pattern take place. And a pattern, or one of the parts of the pattern that you see, is a forsaking of the assembly. All right, and I'm trying to find it. And they usually forsake the assembly because they're intertwined or more entertained by things pertaining to the world. Okay? Let me find it real quick, man. It's in Hebrews 10 and 25. Yeah, blue letters acting like he can't find it. This is the book of Hebrews chapter 10, verse 25. And it reads, I'm going to start at verse 24. And it says, and let us consider one to another, provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking ourselves, not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together, as the manner of some is. And that's usually part of the pattern that you see when people tend to leave this knowledge and leave the truth. It starts with the forsaking of the assembly. All right, being outside of the assembly, not really talking as much. And I mean, you got certain brothers that might be more quiet than other ones. But again, for those of us that are in the mix, when I say in the mix, that actually are part of a congregation, all right, are part of a general assembly that you see and communicate with on a daily, you usually see a pattern of, man, where has this person been? I hope this person's okay. They're not really watching the videos. They're not really tied to what's really happening. All right. Come to the point where brothers are doing all these videos. Watch out. Be aware of this. Be aware of that. And you fall into that snare because you weren't even being circumspect on what a brother was even talking about, because you ain't been watching the videos. You ain't been talking to anybody. You tend to kind of just weasel your way in the truth. Not, I don't want to say slither, but weasel away in the truth. All right. Without really saying anything, in hopes that you're not going to be addressed about it or anything like that. And at the end of the day, if a brother don't address you, which that's usually how it works, a brother addressing you, the Lord will address you with it. And it's better off a brother addressing you before the Lord personally addressing you with it. All right? Because the Lord can bring terror and dread unto you, all right, into a way that you might even think you're going to lose your life if you don't take heed to the words that a brother's saying or the words that the Lord is speaking through these brothers. Okay? But it says in Hebrews 10 and 25, not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much more as you see the day approaching. So we should be more in the mix than ever. And again, I'm not saying, if you're not really a talkative person like that, I'm not saying just talk all the time, whatever the case is. All right, but if you see yourself drifting away from the normal pattern that you're used to, be aware of that. Especially if you're drifting away from the normal pattern that you're used to, but drifting towards the world and worldly things just as an escape route or as an avenue. Hold on one sec. I'm entering into my job. Hold on one sec. But as I was stating, if you see a pattern of you not really paying attention to spiritual matters, not really communicating, but you see yourself giving into more entertainment of the world and things of this life, all right, that's got to be examined. That's got to be examined. All right. And again, as we're here in the world and wrapped in this carnal flesh, there's certain times where that could happen because you're wrapped in wicked, sinful flesh. And being in this stuff, there's certain moments where you might not even realize it. It takes a brother exhorting you or a lesson you might have listened to or whatever the case is for you to realize, oh shoot, you know what? I've been paying more attention to X, Y, or Z versus paying attention to the things that really matter that'll lead me into salvation. And these are the things that we got to pay attention to. Because remember, Yahushua, you had that individual of that wealth that told Yahushua and asked him if he could follow him. And Yahushua asked him pretty much, we'll loosely paraphrase, and even before Yahushua asked him, he told Yahushua, I follow the laws. I do these things. I do that. I do this. And Yahushua said, all right, you're already on your way. All right. And next thing you got to do is forsake the world. Sell your merchandise, sell your belongings and such, and follow me. And the man grieved in his heart because he wasn't willing to do that. You know, he wasn't willing to forsake those worldly things because that was still an attachment that he had towards the world. And what's being spoken through the Spirit is really a detaching that's taking place. And it's coming to the point, if you're a full-fledged believer, you're going to have to detach in one way, form, or another. All right. Sooner or later, you're going to have to detach. All right. And that's the point that we're coming into. And we see the test run with it, even with this stab and jab, man. All right. There's a lot of people that you see that's in the world that was hell bent on not taking the stab and jab and such. And soon as it's implemented and mandated, they're folding like lawn chairs. But the reason why is because they still had their attachments and affection and love to this world. All right, the more you detach from this world, and the more that you show forth your love and entertainment towards spiritual things, that's more glory that's going to be revealed and shown amongst you. Okay? And we're coming into that point in prophecy where that decision is going to have to be made. All right? So beware, and be aware, I should say, of how much of the world that you are entertaining. All right? Be aware of that, man. Be careful of how much of the world you intake. Okay? So I'm going to end it off there. I got to my destination. Lord's willing, this is edifying. But I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessing, and many salutations unto you elect across the four winds of this earth, fulfilling your lots in all truth and all sincerity. Shalom.